All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to day 2 of the Storytelling Challenge. I'm introducing my friend Jen Kay, who is a communication catalyst. Today is all about embracing your energy of your story, moving through the fear of sharing, and then really understanding what your power is in your story. And Jen is a beautiful specialist in moving energy, talking about power, talking about sharing, talking about being seen, as she is a national, international speaker, right, Jen?
I am.
Tell us more about that.
So I have a great time working with independent entrepreneurs, creatives, and corporate executives, helping them with their presence, with their authentic voice, and really aligning who they are on the inside with their actions, language, and behavior on the outside. So basically that they can move through the fears and resistance and have the courage to be who they really are in the world.
I love it. Yeah, yesterday we talked a lot about story being an opportunity to heal and change and grow. And then when you step onto platforms, you get other people the opportunity to heal, change, and grow as well. So my perspective on storytelling is that it is a healing opportunity, not just for you, but for the world. So many writers, though, so many inspired leaders are afraid of sharing for different reactions. Afraid of being seen as one, afraid of being rejected as another. And so you and I have very similar experiences in which my stage performances really came first from storytelling, and you were sort of catapulted onto national stages, right, through your early work with Cruise, entertainment background. But we're both so aligned in terms of we accept our story as an opportunity to help others. So tell me more about how you got to embracing your story.
You know, it's such a great conversation, Carrie, and going back to what you said is that we do have a fear of being seen. And I've always felt like people don't actually have a fear of public speaking. We have a fear of being seen. Joseph Campbell talks about it, right? We have all of these masks that we hide behind. We want people to see who we want them to see. And the hardest thing we'll ever do is actually look inside of ourselves. So I've spent the better part of 25 plus years. I know, how is that even possible, right? We're really working on this and looking at how to embrace my story. And it wasn't really until my head-on collision that I really got that. And so prior to that, I had this wellness practice, and it was thriving. I was doing, it was all about aligning people with their body, mind, spirit. And I was cranking out classes and courses. And I put up just that little prayer, like, oh my gosh, this is so great. Show me how to help more people. And 6 weeks later, I was in a head-on collision.
Right.
And I don't really believe in accidents. So part of me was like, dude, that really wasn't what I was thinking here.
Right.
And yet when they rolled me into the MRI, I thought, okay, some part of me asked for this, not quite this, but there's got to be something more to this. So instead of going, oh, why did this happen to me? And playing the role of the victim and getting stuck in my fear, I basically put out a little prayer and I said, okay, what is this all about? What did I sign up for? And it was one of those moments that you can't really explain to other people unless you get this kind of stuff, is that, relax, this is bigger than you. And in order for you to help more people, you need to have a different experience. And so I never really saw it as a tragedy or a trauma. And as challenging as it was, I'm not going to lie, I shattered my right tibia, multiple breaks and sprains to my left foot and ankle, fractured my C4 neck vertebrae, and a bunch of ribs in the process. I was in a wheelchair for 10 weeks and had to learn how to walk again. Like, not to gloss over this, like with, oh, it's all pretty and all meant to be, like, it sucked. And so many great stories came out of that. And that really catapulted me then into this framework of sharing these stories with people and helping other people overcome their own fears and resistance and challenges.
I love it. No, it's beautiful.
I
look at my burnout experience, launching the nonprofit. I had no idea that it would be as intense and as crazy and as exhausting as it was. And then when I finally turned that corner and I was like, all right, I felt this threshold pulling me forward and being really pulling me into this platform and saying, this is what millions of people are feeling.
Yeah.
Use your voice and your platform to help them.
Yep.
And so it really was one of these experiences where sharing my burnout story, still to this day, pieces that I wrote years ago, I still get calls and asked to help move through burnout or give them an opportunity to learn how to share their own story. So embracing what happens to you and understanding that it's bigger than you is this one way that writers and entrepreneurs can really move into it, which is the start of accepting and moving through the fear.
Absolutely. You have to know that your story, the story in and of itself, in order to embrace it, you have to remember it's not about you, right? The story is not about you. It's about what you can learn from that story and share with others.
Exactly. And that's really what media outlets are craving right now. They're craving teachable, tangible, actionable. How did you learn from this lesson? How can you teach others about your experience? So what do you do? What are some of the things that you do to help you move through that sharing experience?
Let's see, that's a really great question. Okay, so when I speak, it's a little different than when I write.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to hear both of those?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when I write, oftentimes I overthink things. I get caught up in sort of my own creativity. I start going, oh, there's this and this and this, and then I never actually commit to something. And yet what I do for people when I'm live and in person is really step 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right.
So often when I find myself getting stuck or that little bit of resistance and fear, I kind of stop. There's one of the things that I do is I have a playlist.
Yeah, fantastic.
Stop, just turn it on, get whatever is happening. Like I get out of my head and into my body and just like rock it out. And I take a deep breath and it's like, okay, you got your dance break. Now sit your butt down
and get to work.
I
love it. That's cool.
That's when I speak, and you'd think that after truly over 30 years of being on stages in one way, shape, or form, that little bit of nervousness or fear would go away. And it doesn't. It never does. You just continue to make peace with it in different ways. So I have this little mantra or prayer that I say at the beginning of anything that I do. Now I do it before I'm on webinars, sometimes even before I write anymore, but certainly before I speak. And it's, dear God, universe, goddess, whatever, help me to be free of all fear, ego, and judgment, either mine or that of others, so that I'm not caught up in my own fear, my own ego, thinking I have to do something, or I'm not judging myself, and help me to be free of, feeling any, fear of judgment from others. Help me to be a hollow bone so that your words may come through my mouth, and that the stories that I share are relevant, and people walk away with just one thing that they needed to hear today. And the big shift for me was letting go of my attachment to what I thought people needed to take away, because
that's huge.
It is, because when we think, oh, I've got to take on this responsibility, especially if you're sensitive and an empath, you kind of want to follow the through line and help them implement. But you have to let go of your attachment to what people are going to get from you sharing, right? Because they're going to hear it through their own filter, and they're going to hear exactly what they need. So that helps me like get out of my head and just trust that I do my job, and that their job is to get what they need out of it without managing it.
I love it. So you have a playlist and you have a mantra. That's cool.
What do you do?
Let's see. I used to be able to write to music, and since I wrote my manuscript on burnout, that experience shifted my writing, because it was almost like it was like funneling through me. I am an empath, and so I had to hear the words, and I couldn't hear the words and the music. And so now I can't listen to music because it is something bigger than me, and I've accepted that. When I speak, though, I have to move my legs. So I'm usually like this. You'll see me like, it's because I'm in like a wide second position, and I just shake my legs to move the energy. And so before I speak on stages, it's a lot of thigh movement, a lot of knee movement, just to move the energy forward.
Sure. Well, and what's really great about that too is that's grounding.
Yeah.
Right. Especially the more sensitive we are, and as empath, I don't know about you. I know I tend to kind of, I'm way more comfortable up here. It's a lot to ground. So even you like wiggling your legs around, it's really grounding.
Yeah, I love it. Well, I think this is really helpful, because so many people who are entering the sharing, the storytelling arena, whether it be for, this challenge is really about writers. Many writers, they'll move into speaking engagement. It's sort of tangible right now. What I love is that you've got 30 years speaking, I've got 20 years writing for the masses, and you and I still, to this day, have to move energy and get over the fear of sharing to be of service to the world.
Every day.
So it is something that every single person has to address. And my goal today is that the people engaged in this challenge look at this conversation and really be like, all right, this is not abnormal. This is a very normal thing to go through. And you just got to figure it out, and lean on people who have gone through this so that you can get it too.
Carrie, that's a really key point. You have to surround yourself and be with people, right, that are supportive, that that have either walked in your shoes before you, that believe in you, that are there to support you, not just in a Pollyanna way, but it's so easy to surround ourselves with people who echo our greatest fears.
Yes.
And that can become a comfort zone in and of itself. So to really, get into a group, your everything that you do is about supporting writers. And that's one of the things that I love, and encouraging them. And we need that. We need to surround ourselves with positive people, and people who will help us get to where we want to go, not who will hold us back.
I know. I love it. Yeah. So one of the very first things I tell my storytelling clients when they come in, they're usually like, well, I'm not a writer. And I'm like, from this point forward, you are a storyteller. And particularly if you've already been published, you can't call yourself not a writer. So you are a storyteller. And that's one of the very first things that we can use to shift our mindset around sharing, is really embrace that term. We're all storytellers. And as long as, again, you embrace it, you share it, you get to heal the world with your story. And by calling yourself a storyteller is the first step you can really make in getting through that fear. So go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't know if I shared with you before, I tend to have like RSASD, random semantic associative song disorder. So as you're talking, I'm hearing it, isn't it? I think it's One Direction.
Okay.
Their song is The Story of My Life.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Yes,
right. And it's not to be really cheesy, and I'm not a super big One Direction fan, but there are a couple of their songs that I really like. And when you listen to that song, like, it actually moves you. It's like, I am a storyteller. This is the story of my life. This is the story of your life. We help and support each other's through our stories. So anyway,
I love it. The song that comes to me a lot is Gym Class Heroes. Is it? Right? No, it's not Gym Class Heroes. It's called The Fighter, and it is one of the gymnasts that just made the men's team is like the main person, and he is. I'm going to post it later. I absolutely love this song. It's helped me through a lot. But it is Gym Class Heroes. It's called The Fighter, and it is about growing up. Having a story, having to overcome something, and having the courage and the guts and the heart to stay in your story and share it and be like, this is who I am. I had to fight through some stuff to get here, and this is what I'm here to learn and what I'm here to share.
Yep.
So tell people you're about to launch something pretty cool. Tell them about what you're doing.
Well, after many, many years, and you can hear you and pausing right now. It's so funny because it's so big. It's so overwhelming and it's terrifying. And I'm so excited at the same time. I have a 5-step formula to help people communicate better in 10 words or less.
Yes.
This is regardless of your style, your gender, your culture, your background. It's where we get, and it's not about taking everything you've got to say or narrowing it down to only 10 words. What it is about is having a practical strategy and system for organizing your thoughts, your feelings, and the words that actually come to your mouth, either verbally or in writing. And so it really helps you encapsulate this. And what's so funny is I started teaching this, and it was almost intuitive. It just kind of came up one day when I was teaching a group inside one of my corporate trainings. And I came home, I don't know, probably, a week later, and I'm going through some old papers, and I kid you not, I should have brought it to show you the visual. It's 6 or 8 pages of yellow legal pad paper, thin line, in cursive, front and back, me trying to share with someone what I was thinking and feeling. There was no way they would ever read it, right? I mean, 6 pages front and back, so that's 12 pages, cursive, like all over. And so this system, it's a blueprint for powerful, succinct, and aligned communication to align your thoughts with the feelings, the words that are coming out of your mouth, so that you don't stay up all night rolling things over. I could have, would have, should have said, or beating yourself up because you didn't say something to begin with.
Right. No, I love it. And the reason, I mean, that alone is so powerful. But when you think about the writing perspective, these days, platforms are looking for 500 words, 500 to 800 words. Every single word you use has to be powerful. More than that, the bio that you use is typically 60 words or less. Huffington Post gives you a Twitter line, which is 140 characters. So being mindful of every word you use is something that everyone needs help with. And so I'm super passionate about your offer. And Jen and I are going to figure out something for all of you going through this challenge when we're going to come back together for a live webinar here pretty soon in a couple of days, and we'll figure out something for you guys. So thanks for your time, Jen. I think this was really fun.
Thanks for having me, Carrie. It was great fun. And I'm so excited for what you're doing and helping so many people just having their own breakthroughs.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing more. I remember the first time I was published in a national magazine, it was like, holy cow. Mm-hmm. And everything that you're doing is so supportive of them from the inside out, which is something I'm super passionate about. So thank you for the work that you're doing.
I love it. Thanks. I'll talk to you guys soon. And your writing assignment is in the next video. So bye, everyone.